Hey yo, what up guys? It is me, SearingSorrow Emoji, and I'm back with another bad fanfiction reading. It's another episode of Fluttershy's. Oh god. Here we go. Fluttershy's week-long foot long. Week-long foot long. Anyway, so we are going to chapter 1, Twilight Sparkle. And all that stuff. It'll be pretty interesting, so prepare yourself. Alrighty. I know there's a little summary up there, but I ain't reading it because I did it last time. Okay. After a short flight, Fluttershy finally arrived in front of Twilight's tree library, landing gracefully at the doorstep and peering inside the lit-up window. Okay, hope you don't pop it unannounced. Why is this suddenly reminding me of Summer Rae? Coming to Natty's house unannounced on Total Trash. Dude, that was funny. I don't know why, but I don't know. A lot of people just found that really iconic. Okay, just don't ask me why. She spotted the purple unicorn at her desk on the left side of the room, surrounded by books, as a quill wrote across a piece of parchment, being it levitated by her magic. Whoa, she's home. Maybe she can get rid of this, Fluttershy thought, glancing down between her legs for a moment before stepping up to the door, raising her hoof and gently knocking on it. A couple of moments passed before the door opened and purplish aura surrounding as it did, revealing Twilight, who smiled warmly. AKA, Twilight pretty much took a break from being an engine. Oh god, I gotta stop. Oh, really? She probably took a break from being an engine. Oh, hello there, Fluttershy. What brings you here this late? She asked, motioning for the Pegasus to follow her inside as she turned, heading back towards her desk. And I'm sorry, I'm very likely not going to be consistent with voices, so just bear with me. Nothing really. I just thought I'd visit you, Fluttershy lied as she followed Twilight inside, walking over to the desk with her. What are you studying tonight? I'm studying chickens. Or actually, I'm right now doing a 10-page essay on pandas. Yeah, I'm taking shots and probably shading all those Wattpad cliches that a lot of those times they're in high school and they already have homework on the first day of school, and guess what they have? A freaking 10-page essay on, like, pandas. The hell is that? I'm sorry. Like, if that's supposed to be your science or English or something, I mean, give me a break. Y'all can't be that broad. Ugh. I was just writing some notes on anatomy, Twilight answered, pointing her hoof towards one of the open books on her desk, as she levitated her quill once more, continuing to write on the parchment. Uh-oh, we got Scarlet Witch stuff going on. No, actually, okay, never mind. Biology is a lot of fun, you know. I was never really a fan of biology. Okay, let's just be completely honest here. Fluttershy nodded with a slight smile, trying to be as inconspicuous as possible. Meanwhile, Spike came down the stairwell carrying a stack of books over the desk and putting them beside it. Here's the rest of those anatomy books from the attic. Why do you need so many anyways? The little dragon groaned, his arms sore from carrying them for so long. Oh, hey, Fluttershy, he casually added as he glanced towards her, getting a smile from her as well. You know what I always say, the more books, the better, Twilight giggled. More like, the more the merrier. Oh my god. That just gave me a flashback from that, one Thomas episode. I think it was Stepney Gets Lost, and I can't really do that Cockney accent that Alec Baldwin did, but that was... man, that was iconic as chiz, y'all. Man, I saw some dark chiz back in that season when I was a kid. Wow. I ain't gonna lie. Okay. Twilight giggled, levitating a couple of new books onto her desk, replacing the ones that were there previously. Is there anything that you need, Fluttershy? She asked, glancing at Fluttershy, bringing up a fresh piece of parchment with her magic, laying it on the front of the one she had already been writing on. You know what you need? You need holy water. Oh, well, there's something I wanted to talk to you about, but can we talk in private, please? That is, if that's okay with you? Fluttershy asked quietly, blushing softly. Spike taking the hint and heading back upstairs again, yawning slightly as if it was close to his bedtime. Kids, you got bedtime, kids. Well, sure. What do you want to talk about? Twilight asked, setting the quill down as she motioned for Fluttershy to follow again, leading her into the kitchen and shutting the door behind them. The fact that there's a door in the kitchen that, that makes, separates the kitchen from the rest of the area. If that's what it's sounding like to me, we got some serious issues, y'all. Just stop. Well, there's something weird going on. Honestly, why would you do that? Why would you close off the kitchen like that? That's just stupid. Okay. I'm not going to say it. Because otherwise it's going to feel like I'm going to shade someone else and then people are going to get mad. Well, I went to Canterlot earlier today. Princess Celestia had her guards bring me up here so she could talk to me. Fluttershy started trying to keep her composure despite all of her anxiety. Really? What did she say? Twilight asked, more intrigued now that the subject was Celestia. The princess doesn't normally call ponies up to Canterlot unless it's important. What happened? Fluttershy gulped softly. Gulped softly. Okay, I don't know why, but maybe that's a little bit more sensical than the likes of cried wisely or hugged manfully. Oh no! Oh no! You see, Hogwarts School and Prayer Miracles and My Immortal are probably highly ranked as the worst fanfictions in history. In the history of fanfiction. That's what I'm talking about. You promise you won't tell any pony? She asked it quietly. Yeah, of course. I won't tell a soul. Twilight nodded before bringing her hoof across her chest and gently poking her eye with it. The traditional Pinkie Pie swear. Pinkie Pie? Is she still being Percy at this point? Is she still being Percy's equivalent? I guess they're right now working on some branch line chiz. And then, we all know and then so far it looks like the only character who doesn't have a roleplay equivalent and who still remains in the original story is Edward. That's pretty interesting. The fact that Fluttershy wanted to keep it a secret only worried her further, though. Okay, Fluttershy started taking a deep breath to try and calm herself. It all started when Luna came over to my house one night, at least a month ago, Fluttershy started. We talked over tea for a while, before she asked me if I wanted to play a game with her. A game? What kind of game? Twilight asked curiously, tilting her head a bit. Why would Luna go to Fluttershy and ask that? She thought, somewhat confused, but deciding to keep her thoughts until she got the full story. Here we go. Here's the full story. Well, the nervous Pegasus began, her cheeks blushing again. She wanted to play, SBDM. DMBS? I think it's BDSM, chick, okay? I think it's called BDSM, but I don't think you frickin'... Yeah, yeah. But at least you're somewhat on the right track, but it's BDSM. That's some 50 Shades of Grey chiz. I can't remember what she called it, but it always involved me tying her up and shouting at her and doing other things, she said, her whole face flushing red with embarrassment by now. She'd tell me to hit her with whips or say bad things to her, and Fluttershy! Twilight nearly shouted, shoving her hoof against Fluttershy's mouth to silence her. Are you serious? Luna seriously asked you to do that? She asked with wide eyes, knowing exactly what Fluttershy was talking about. From reading about it in the book, of course. Fluttershy nodded, looking back into Twilight's eyes, still blushing in embarrassment. What in this good idea? What would she want you to do? Those things? I don't know. She would just come over to my house that night from time to time and ask me if I wanted to play that game with her. Y'all couldn't even play Scrabble or Monopoly or anything? Y'all are wild. Come on. Y'all can't even play normal games for once anymore. That's what sucks. Remember when normal games were a thing? Where, when you said you wanted to play a game or something, you either played those, board games, or you could play video games or something. Or play, really silly chiz, like Twister or something. But no! This is what y'all have to do. Man. This is where I get extremely simple on this chiz, okay? We ain't going on this crap. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't want to say no. She sounded like she really wanted to do it. Fluttershy continued out after pushing Twilight's hoof off from her snout, looking down at the floor. And I guess I kind of enjoyed it too. Some of the things we did were very nice. She spoke even more quietly. Oh, yeah! Yikes. Go get a chill pill. Go get some holy water. Twilight shook her head, completely bewildered by the story Fluttershy was telling. Okay. Does this relate to anything How does this relate to going to see Princess Celestia? She asked, wanting to get back on topic again. Well, she called me up to Canterlot to talk to me, and told me that she knew about what me and Fluttershy were doing. I said myself. Does anybody remember that looked like a knockoff of the Sims or something, but was like the Kardashians, and they went to this restaurant, and I think or it was Courtney, and she was talking, even it was like a reality show, so it was like, Courtney and Chloe or something. What the? Oh my god! But she actually meant me, Chloe, and Kim instead of Courtney, and because Courtney was the one that was talking. And then later on, involved with the you should get the orange soda. It's amazing. All right, I'll have the strawberry soda. Y'all need to watch that video. That was funny. I don't know why. I died laughing at that. Oh my god. About what me and Luna were doing. Fluttershy spoke softly, looking back up at Twilight. She got Luna to tell her everything, and then she punished me. She's yo, no. Punished you? Twilight blinked in surprise, though her worry only increasing as her mind rapidly jumped to different conclusions. What did she do to you? You're not hurt, are you? Is she going to banish you and put you in a dungeon? She asked, gently putting her hoof on Fluttershy's shoulder. What's with this? I think you should see for yourself, Twilight, the nervous Pegasus replied, gently pushing Twilight's hoof off her shoulder before she sat on the floor, blushing hard and turning her head away in embarrassment as she spread her legs, revealing her new equipment to Twilight. No! Oh, God! Your new equipment! I think you'll be better off with a toolbox. This is just, no. Like I say, you're better off with the toolbox. Jesus Christ. What the? Twilight started, her pupils shrinking as she stared at the sheath and balls in disbelief. Her jaw almost dropped to the floor. She did that? She stammered, blushing now, as well as her mind only filling with even more wild conclusions. What? It is Greta! How is that even possible? I've seen quite a bit of alteration magic, but this is just ridiculous! More like you need to do a spell. Ridiculous! Turn it back into her vagina, or as Ebony would say, her you-know-what. Oh my god. Yo, I can't with y'all. No, really, I can't with y'all. Y'all are wildin'. I don't know why she did it either, but that's what she did. Fluttershy spoke softly, closing her legs again before standing up, looking back towards Twilight. I came here to ask if you knew how to remove it. It is magic, right? Well, I assume so. The purple unicorn gulped and nodded, still shaken from the fact that her friend was now a full-blown hermaphrodite. Even if just via a magic spell. I don't know about removing it though. I've never heard of any alteration magic like this. This has to be some way though. Celestia said it would last for a week. I don't know if I could hide it for that long, Twilight. What the fuck? I did it again. Fluttershy continued looking at the floor again. Okay. If any pony found out about this, I wouldn't be able to show my face to Ponyville again. Twilight took a deep breath, closing her eyes for a moment as she tried to regain her composure. Don't worry, we'll find a way to get rid of it, or at least hide it. She spoke, turning towards the door again. Stay here. I'm going to get some books. She added before going through the door and back to the center of the library, starting to search for more advanced spell books. Twilight, what's going on? Spike asked from the top of the stairs, having heard Twilight shouting earlier, looking down at her from the top steps as she walked around the bookshelves, taking down a book here and there. Oh my, so he heard y'all. No! Oh, he heard y'all. No, seriously, he heard y'all. Yes, is something wrong with Fluttershy? It doesn't concern you, Spike. Just go back to bed. Twilight had replied dismissively, carrying a few books with her magic as she headed back towards the kitchen, going inside again and locking the magically soundproof the door. This time, just in case Spike decided to disobey her. Okay, there should be something in these books that can help, she told Fluttershy as she set the books down, picking up the first one and opening it up, starting to flip through the pages. What are you trying to try first? Fluttershy asked curiously, watching the pages flip with magic as Twilight searched through the book, finally stopping a good ways into the book. Here's something I could try. It says, for the removal of physical enhancements. Twilight answered, reading the spell and preparing herself to cast it. Tell me when you're ready, Fluttershy. Fluttershy took a deep breath as she sat down and spread her legs again, not exactly sure if she needed it or not, but doing so anyway just in case she needed to. I'm ready, she softly spoke, blushing and embarrassed once more. All right, here goes. Tell me if you feel anything strange, came Twilight's reply as her horn started glowing brighter. Fluttershy's sheath and ball started to glow with magic aura, as well as causing her to feel the same tingling pleasure when she was rubbing it herself. Oh, Twilight, stop! That feels weird! She softly moaned, causing Twilight to stop the spell immediately. The unicorn sighed softly, flipping through the book, finding another spell for a few moments. Her focus reading causing her to notice the tip of Fluttershy's member poking out of her sheath. Okay. Here, let me try a different one. This one's supposed to neutralize alteration magic. She spoke before working her magic at Fluttershy's male bits again. This time, Fluttershy didn't feel anything at first, glancing down at her crotch and seeing the magic aura. I think it might be working, she started, but quickly realized that she spoke too soon. The aura in her sheath suddenly began brightening rapidly, causing her eyes to widen in fear. Twilight's doing the same as she tried to stop her magic, though right as she did, both magic auras flashed brightly. Ah! Twilight groaned from the sudden spell break, leaving her slightly dazed for a couple of moments. Fluttershy, are you alright? She asked, greatly shaking her head before glancing over at Fluttershy, now laying on her back and shivering a bit, even more dazed than Twilight was. Oh, I think... Fluttershy mumbled, one eye closed as she slowly sat back up again, looking back at Twilight to see an exasperated look on her face, as well as a deep flush on both cheeks. This one just probably didn't end well. I promise you that much. Twilight, why are you looking at me like that for? She stopped and gasped with surprise and embarrassment as she looked down, seeing her semi-aroused member now fully aroused, standing proudly at his full 12 inches and gently throbbing. She gasped and quickly turned around, her face flushing a deep red very quickly as she closed her legs. Once again, having a dick that's like about a foot long. Why? I don't think that's realistically possible. Unless you really like stupid stuff like that, but who knows. Twilight was speechless for a few moments, but she could have sworn that Fluttershy's member was still glowing despite the spell breaking. She gently shook her head after another moment, snapping out of her surprise and reaching towards Fluttershy's shoulder. Fluttershy, are you alright? I didn't hurt you, did I? She asked, gently nudging the Pegasus' shoulder. I'm sorry, I don't know how it got like that, Fluttershy stammered, turning her head to look back at Twilight. I didn't mean for it to get hard, she continued, shivering again. You didn't hurt me. Twilight sighed in relief, though continued to gently hold her hoof on Fluttershy's shoulder. I never had a spell react like that before. I didn't mean to make your body so do that, she spoke, gently rubbing the Pegasus' shoulder. But I think I figured out what went wrong, judging from how the spell reacted. Can you turn around for a moment? I need to see your thingy. She asked nervously. I'm sorry. If you say so, Twilight, the Pegasus replied softly, slowly turning around again, still blushing hard in embarrassment as she let Twilight see her aroused member. Twilight squinted softly as she took a closer look at it, seeing that it was indeed glowing, though not as bright as her magic aura. That's strange, it's glowing, she thought out loud, scratching her head a bit of confusion. I'm not using my magic on it. The spell should have faded, but it's still glowing. The only reason it would be glowing is... Oh, no! Hell no! She groaned, shaking her head. Oh, shit. What? What's wrong? Fluttershy asked worriedly, her eyes widening in fear. Is there something I hate wrong with it? Well, if it's still glowing, that means there's a magical seal on the spell Celestia used, preventing it from it being removed. My magic has, well... in simple terms, gotten stuck inside the seal, Twilight explained, blushing as she kept staring at Fluttershy's gently throbbing member, Simon finding it strangely arousing despite it being attached to one of her friends. And this is where you kids need holy water. Badly. Badly, badly, badly. Oh, well, what does that mean, then? Fluttershy continued, only becoming more embarrassed as she noticed Twilight staring at her for so long. Is it going to work out or not? To be honest, I'm not sure, Fluttershy. I never tried to tamper with Prince's magic before, Twilight replied, shaking her head a bit as trying to rid herself of the increasing amount of naughty thoughts filling her mind. Get yourself a holy Bible, girl. Get yourself a holy Bible. There is no telling what could happen. I see this ending badly. I see, Fluttershy nodded, glancing down at her glowing endowment again, sighing softly. Right now, all she felt was a small tingling pleasure, not knowing if it was magic, due to the never having seen it having a penis before, of course. Celestia's spell was reacting somewhat violently with Twilight's, which was causing the Pegasus' sudden arousal. Well, right now it feels kind of weird. I don't know if it's the magic doing it or not, she added, looking back up at Twilight. The purple unicorn heard Fluttershy, but it was once more distracted by the constant dirty thoughts entering her mind, glancing down at Fluttershy's endowment again. I haven't been with a stallion for so long. No, Twilight, step out of it! Step out of it! She wants to get rid of it, but it's so big, it's so thick. I just can't let this go to waste! Her thoughts went back and forth as she kept staring, becoming quite aroused herself, without noticing, causing her folds to moisten slightly. Twilight? Fluttershy asked again, waving her hoof in front of the unicorn's face, snapping her out of her daydreaming. Are you alright? Huh? Well, oh yeah, I'm fine, she answered quickly, smiling nervously. Just about the magic, yeah, she giggled a bit. Well, that was close. But still, I just can't leave her like this. Wouldn't want her to have blue balls, she thought, looking back up towards Fluttershy's face. So, what are we gonna do, Twilight? It won't get soft again. Fluttershy continued, gently pressing her over against the head of her member, still stiff as ever and throbbing softly, a bit of pre-forming on the slit as well. Ew! Get your... You're gonna have to clean it up, girl. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Why won't it get soft again? I don't want to rub it in front of Twilight, she thought, only feeling this tingling pleasure increasing more and more as time passed. Well, I know this sounds kind of weird, but Twilight started gulping softly. Do you need a hoof with that? She asked quietly, both of them blushing in embarrassment again. It would make it soft again, at least for a while. So y'all go with the quick fix. You know, just like how y'all want there. How some people go for the bariatric surgery. Jeez, I watch way too many obesity documentaries. Don't blame me. Fluttershy only blushed heavily, not sure how to respond to the unicorn's request. The thought of having that kind of fun with her friends would normally be something she enjoyed somewhat, but she was unsure of how things would go with her new endowment. However, the fact that Twilight was offering eased her nerves somewhat. She closed her eyes from embarrassment for a moment before answered quietly. You won't tell any pony, will you? She asked Twilight, opening one eye so slowly. No, of course not, Fluttershy. You're my friend. I wouldn't tell any pony. Twilight smiled softly, gently putting her hoof on the Fluttershy's shoulder. Well, I thought I would have convinced her more, she thought to herself. Fluttershy tried to smile back, still blushing heavily in embarrassment, though, looking down at her eagerly throbbing member, the tingling pleasure nearly double what it was a couple minutes ago. I'm not exactly sure how to do this, she admitted, looking back up at Twilight. Oh, don't worry about it, Fluttershy. I can teach you. Twilight reassured her, keeping her voice soft as she looked into the Pegasus' eyes. At least I could teach you what the books taught me, she added, giggling softly. Oh, God, no. I guess so. Fluttershy giggled softly, as well as becoming less nervous as she slowly regained her confidence. So, what did you have in mind, Twilight? Well, let's start up with motion to slow and work our way up, shall we? The unicorn suggested with a playful smirk, reaching down and pressing her hoof against Fluttershy's stiff pride, rubbing it gently up and down. Whoa, it's awfully hard, Fluttershy. Oh, that explains that chiz, yo. We gonna explain that chiz. We gone out here and going to explain that chiz to everyone. I can't stop it. It got like that by itself, honestly. Fluttershy moaned softly to the teasers. Her member became more sensitive to Twilight's touch than her own. Another drop of pre-scabied and smeared onto the unicorn's hoof, while her wings spread out slowly in response to the gentle pleasure. Yo, you're gonna have to clean that up. Honestly, you really are gonna have to clean that up. I ain't gonna lie. I see. Twilight spoke in a somewhat sultry tone, gently grasping Fluttershy's upper body with the help of her magic, slowly brought her down until she was laying on her back, and while her other hoof continued to gently stroke the Pegasus' throbbing member up and down. With dirty thoughts now flowing freely through her mind, she was becoming quite aroused as well, only moistening even more between her legs. Oh God, get ready for your holy water, get your... you might want to put a dash of bleach in there. Maybe some vodka, just in case. Because it sounds like it's going to get wild. Prepare yourselves! Fluttershy panted softly as she laid on the floor, her wings still spread out while her member throbbed against Twilight's hoof. The Pegasus glancing down to see Twilight kneeling between her legs now, lowering her head down toward Fluttershy's crotch, and pressing her lips against the perky little nub on her udder. Twilight, she moaned softly, as she felt the unicorn gently suckling and nibbling on the nipple, all while still stroking her stiff member up and down, only procuring more pre-cum from it. Oh, God. And it ain't got no seasoning on it. Twilight continued to gently suckle and pursue her lips against the sensitive nipple for a few more moments, before dragging her tongue across the Pegasus' crotch, and to remember giving it a long, slow lick from the base of the tip, slurping up the pre in the process. What a taste, she thought, grinning lustfully up at Fluttershy while her tongue swirled around the head of the stiff bride, only teasing the Pegasus with even more pleasure. Oh my God. Get your holy water. Y'all are in desperate need. Oh God. This is a desperate time, calls for desperate measures. Oh my! Fluttershy moaned cutely from the unicorn's treatment, blushing hard again as she quickly felt the pressure building up inside her loins again. Rubbing it herself had felt good, but the combination of Twilight's roof and tongue was even better, rapidly bringing her orgasm closer. Don't stop! Looking back down again, Twilight slowly closed her eyes and took the head of the Pegasus member into her mouth, pursuing her lips around it, while her tongue continued to swirl around the tip and tease the slit slightly. As she slowly took inch after inch of the thick lengths in her mouth, her hoof moved down further, gently pressing it underneath the two hefty orbs. Orbs! Orbs! Stop the orbs! No, seriously, stop the orbs! And beginning to massage the fondle them, only bringing the Pegasus even more pleasure. She had nearly had half the length in her mouth before she felt it throb harder, opening her eyes slightly and glancing up towards Fluttershy, who cried out in bliss as her orgasm hit her suddenly. Twilight mumbled around the Pegasus' member as it erupted in her mouth, gushing thick shots of sticky seed from her throat, causing her to cough a bit as she tried to swallow it. Y'all need holy water, folks. Quickly pulling her head back, she coughed a couple more times, closing her eyes as more of the steamy fluid splashed her face, Fluttershy's member standing straight up as it kept spurting everywhere, splashing all over Twilight's face as well as onto her crotch as well. Oh, jeez. Great Celestia! Precious Fluttershy! Twilight groaned in annoyance, but still enjoying the facial somewhat, despite it being surprised by it. You came already, she continued as she slightly opened one eye, seeing Fluttershy's orgasm had stopped after a few more moments. The Pegasus panting heavily with a blissful look on her face. Oh, Twilight, that felt heavenly, Fluttershy said between her panting, smiling back up at Twilight as she basked in her afterglow. Hey, looked like I made a mess, sorry, she giggled softly, oblivious to the fact that her member was still quite stiff and aroused. You need to distract yourself, girl. Get some holy water or something. Pour some holy water on that jizz. Go get some! Ah! Well, geez, I didn't know you was so sensitive. Twilight chuckled a bit, sitting up as she levitated a couple paper towels over and wiped her face clean. I didn't know I was so sensitive either. I didn't come that fast, but I was just rubbing it myself, Fluttershy admitted with a blush. I'm sorry for coming so fast. It felt so good. Yeah, congratulations. You're cleaning that up. Don't worry about it, Fluttershy, the unicorn reassured her, tossing the dirty paper towel onto a nearby trash bin. You had an orgasm, so it shouldn't get soft again soon, she added, reaching down again and slightly pressing her hoof against Fluttershy's member, raising an eyebrow slightly as she felt it throb against her hoof, seemingly still as hard as ever and ready for another round of fun. The soft glow from the magic was still present, but dimmer than before. Are you sure, Twilight? It still feels really hard, and I still feel a little horny. Good God, you kids are wild. Ugh. Y'all need the holy water soon, honestly. Fluttershy spoke softly, sighing halfly from the gentle pleasure of the hoof against her member. That's so strange. You still feel horny, really? Twilight's eyebrow raised a little more in confusion while her hoof started to gently rub up and down the Pegasus' stiff pride, only to make her moan quietly in pleasure. Very strange. Males usually exhibit a fatigue and decreased level of arousal right after an orgasm. Why is it still so hard? Oh, I don't know, but it's so sensitive, Fluttershy moaned cutely as her eager member was rubbed, once more procuring prey from the slit which speared along Twilight's hoof. Y'all probably should have just waited to clean it up until y'all were completely done. Let me just put it out there. You kids are just... jeez. Well, if one orgasm doesn't do it, how about two? The unicorn smirked playfully again, taking her hoof off of Fluttershy's pride before gently positioning herself at the top of the rouse the Pegasus, slightly straddling her body, aligning her crotch with Fluttershy's while pressing her hooves gently into Fluttershy's chest. Twilight, are you sure you want to? Fluttershy asked as she looked up, wincing softly from the feeling of her stiff member rubbing against Twilight's moist snatch. Of course, Fluttershy, I just don't want to leave you all worked up like this. Don't really want to leave myself all worked up either. Twilight giggled softly, grinning down at Fluttershy, lightly grinning along with her throbbing endowment. A small amount of her moistness smearing along the length. All this stunning makes me a little lonely, you know. Wow. Okay, then. Okay, if you want. Fluttershy smiled softly in return, reaching up and gently grasping Twilight's flanks, her hooves right over the two cutie marks. Is this where I'm supposed to hold you? I think I've seen this position before. Am I doing it right? That's right, Fluttershy. The unicorn nodded, trying to keep from giggling as she gently rubbed her hooves around along Fluttershy's chest. Her horn glowed softly as she cast an enchantment on herself down below, temporarily preventing any sperm from impregnating her. She wasn't quite sure if that was possible, considering that the penis was an alteration spell, but she didn't want to take any chances. Oh yeah, since you don't want to be pregnant and that sort of stuff. Here it goes, she added before gently pressing her lower half down, grasping body and pleasure as her moist folds were penetrated by Fluttershy's stiff member. Oh yes, she's just the perfect size, she thought slowly, taking the length inside inch by inch. Fluttershy gasped with pleasure as well, the feeling being completely new to her, much different than anything she had felt prior. Oh, she softly moaned as she felt her pride slowly sinking into the unicorn's hot, moist depths. The inner wall seemed to clench repeatedly around the thick shaft as it squeezed gently over and over again, only adding to her pleasure. This feels so nice. Wow. Congrats. You really done it. You really think it was that nice. I'll tell you that much. Yes. Alright, thanks for letting me know. I would surely love to know that. Oh my god. But, yeah. I bet it does. Ah! Twilight panted softly, about half of her Fluttershy's members inside of her now, taking it a couple more inches before stopping. But here comes the good part, she added with a lustful grin as she slowly pulled her lower half up again before pushing back down in a swift motion, taking it all but a couple inches from the length. The sudden thrust made Fluttershy moan again, blushing from the pleasure as her member throbbed harder, producing more warm purr as her pleasure increased. Ah! Amazing! She panted as Twilight repeated the motion again and again, starting to do it at a steady rate, driving the Pegasus crazy with pleasure. The new pleasure was euphoric to her, feeling Twilight's hot, soft insides clutching around her member and rubbing firmly up and down against it, as if to try to milk her cum out of her. Jeez! Get yourself some holy water. Twilight was still enjoying herself a good deal as well, panting as well as she kept riding the Pegasus' pride steadily, gradually increasing her speed as her pleasure grew too, her warm juices mixing with Fluttershy's pre-cum and coating the stiff length as it throbbed inside of her. The Pegasus' orgasm was building up even more rapidly than before, but luckily for her, Twilight was due to already be quite aroused. She could feel the thick member throbbing hard against her inner walls, though, knowing that Fluttershy was about to climax again any minute now. Got to come! And fast! She thought, closing her eyes as she kept writing. Her horn starting to glow as she worked her magic on herself, focusing on the fleshy stub at the top of her folds, grabbing it with her magic and teasing it firmly, which would return said shocks of pleasure through her loins. Wow. Making her pleasure skyrocket quickly, she could feel her own orgasm coming on rapidly, only causing her more of her warm juices to coat Fluttershy's member. Almost there! And this is where it's going to get wow, as in you really need your holy water. Just then she felt Fluttershy's hoof squeeze her flanks tighter, the Pegasus crying out in the bliss as her second orgasm occurred, her hips bucking upward against Twilight's crotch as her member throbbed wildly, gushing a second load of steamy sea deep within the unicorn's snatch. With just a little more working on her clit, Twilight gasped blissfully as she climaxed as well, her hot inner walls clamping the erupting member like a vice as a rush of her juices mixed in with the steamy cum. Oh my god. Oh god. The mixture gushing out around Fluttershy's member and onto her crotch. With a content sigh, the blissful unicorn collapsed gently up top of Fluttershy, panting heavily with her. Wow. That was really good. She spoke between breaths, looking down at Fluttershy, seeing a blissful smile on her face as she lay back on the floor, her hooves still gently resting on Twilight's flanks. I take it you enjoyed that as well? Twilight continued with a smile. Oh, it was beyond nice, Fluttershy replied with a big grin, tilting her head down a bit to look up at Twilight. I never felt so good before in my whole life, she exclaimed, her wings flapping a bit against the floor in joy. Jeez. Glad to hear it. Twilight giggled softly, resting for a couple of more moments before slowly pulling herself up, feeling Fluttershy's member slipping out of her, looking back to see if that was Chloe softening. I'll have to do some more research to find something that can get rid of this, Fluttershy. Oh, don't worry about it, Twilight. I'm sure you'll find something eventually, Fluttershy replied as she slowly got up as well as after Twilight moved off of her. Looking down at herself while her member only semi-hard now, hanging between her back legs. I think I want to experiment with this a little more before we get rid of it, she admitted with a blush and a nervous smile. Twilight grinned and nodded a bit. I understand, Fluttershy. I probably wouldn't have wanted to get rid of it right away either. Really? She giggled softly as she levitated the books again, stacking them neatly while they floated in the air. You're free to stay here for the night if you want. It's awfully late. She added, glancing over at the clock, which read 9:02 p.m. Thanks, Twilight. Fluttershy smiled, gently hugging her unicorn friend. I'll have to leave early in the morning to feed my animals, though. That's fine. Just be careful not to wake Spike. He'll get really cranky. Twilight's poke her head out playfully as she returned the soft hug before moving over towards the door, removing the enchantment on it, and unlocking it, heading back onto the library to replace the books. Fluttershy giggled softly as well as watching as Twilight left the room. I hope you clean it up before Spike sees it. Seriously. Looking down between her legs again, her member had completely softened, but there was still the matter of the sticky mess all over her crotch. I hope Twilight doesn't mind me using her shower, she thought, heading towards the nearby bathroom, closing the door behind her. After showering off and completely cleaning herself again, she walked back into the main library, seeing Twilight flipping through her books while levitating a quill, writing another piece of the parchment. Not wanting to disturb her, the Pegasus walked up to the staircase and into the bedroom, finding Spike snoring happily in his bed next to the spare bed. She carefully stepped past the sleeping dragon and climbed over to the bed, sliding under the soft comforter and resting her head on the pillow, sighing contently. That feeling was amazing. I wonder if anybody else would stay with me, Fluttershy thought as she laid in bed, staring up at the ceiling. Oh, what am I saying? They're my friends. They wouldn't turn me down because of this. She reassured herself, smiling slightly before closing her eyes and pulling the blanket up a bit while drifting off to sleep after a little while. Wow, end of chapter 1. Well, this was written in record speed for me, I guess. I really enjoyed Fluttershy too. Next chapter, however, will be a little slower, seeing how I'm still trying to work out how the story is going to go in terms of chapters. What? No. What? Oh, God. Wow. Jeez. Wow. Okay, you about to, I think we need to, pull a holing. We need to, I'm calling it a big order of holy water and all that stuff. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys!